there on your shoulder. Kill me today, you cannot kill I tomorrow. Murder, your inside must see Allah. How does it feel to take a life? You can hide from man, but not your conscience. Who know you be brothers around, drink the wine of violence. Allow yourself to be conquered by this.
Buju Banton is a Jamaican reggae and dancehall singer and musician. Around 1985, at the age of 12, he started posting for Jamaican sound systems. His first single was released in 1987, his first album in 1992, and his 12th and most recent was released in 2023. His career was nearly destroyed in 1992 when his first album around that time came out, when an ill-advised song he'd recorded 4 years earlier was released without his say-so, and another song released in which he praises light-skinned women. He survived that, and for most of his career has been a proponent of love, respect, non-violence, and such values. Hi, my name's Dan, and this is a review of the album Till Shiloh by Buju Banton. It was released in 1995. It was his fourth album. It's my first encounter with him that I know of. I've certainly never heard this album before. So apparently this is a move away from dancehall, which is an electronic dance-driven offshoot of reggae, and towards more roots reggae. Acclaimed Music claimed that it's ragga. I had to look that up. I've heard of it, and apparently that's a more slightly more aggressive form of dancehall. Musically, so I'm going to say that I think there are three kinds of tracks in here. So there's first of all, I'm not an expert in dancehall, so some of the tracks are what I assume is the more dancehall stuff, with quite a minimal backing, which feels quite dub at times, with drum patterns, deep synthy bass, occasional keyboard hits, and singing which is closer to rapping than most singing. Quite a lot of it is on one note and pretty rhythmic and quite kind of machine gun spitting it out. Champion is one of those tracks. This stuff reminds me of, so I think the only person that I know who's in this particular style, Shabba Ranks, who had a couple of hits in the UK in the late 80s and early 90s. And yes, some tracks that do lean closer to reggae and are more singy, with more kind of tuney stuff, with more musical backing. So Murderer and Untold Stories are examples of that. Some of these can be quite mellow, like Wanna Be Loved. His voice is very gravelly, on a scale of Smokey Robinson to Louis Armstrong. He's somewhere around about here, I would say. So really gritty voice that he's got. And he uses it all the time like that. There's a very strident voice. So even on some of the songs with more mellow backing, it adds a kind of intensity to it. That's two of the kinds of tracks. The third kind of track, like Hush Baby Hush, is closer to what I understand hosting is. So let me hopefully get this right. Pure toasting is kind of originated in these sound systems that we talk about, which are mobile, PA systems in Jamaica, where they'd hold open air parties and they'd play records, and somebody would live then be singing or rapping between the bits of words that were sung on the record, adding to it. So I've come across this. I'm fascinated by this idea. There are a couple of tracks here, at least, that I feel like this, but I think have been the songs in the background have been manipulated to make more room for this, and so just have bits of vocal choruses. There's a couple of them where I think I recognise the source songs for them, but recognised but couldn't identify. Content. Some of this is hard to work out because of the gravelly voice, the rapid delivery, and the accent and use of Jamaican dialect terms that I'm less familiar with. So what I could gather, most of this seems to be social commentary with a dash of Rastafarianism thrown in. So I've done a lot of description for this album. What did I think? Well, I've got mixed feelings, I have to say. I think that the more reggae stuff for me is better than the more dancehall stuff. Even then, the reggae stuff feels too strident for me. Now, I'm fond of saying I like a good bit of reggae, which makes me feel like I'm saying this is not a good bit of reggae. It's not my favorite way of doing reggae. It's not relaxed enough. And I'm not a huge fan of lots of synthetic instrument sounds in reggae, and this has got quite a lot of that. It gives it kind of plastic feel to it. I know that this is a thing. Some reggae's like this. His voice is good, but I found it easier in. I think I would find it easier in small doses. So I'm afraid it didn't win this British white prog rocking old guy over, which is not necessarily a surprise, really. But I do see some merit to it. And as a mild tiny, there's some bits of enjoyment in there. So that's what I thought. And as always, it's just my opinion, and I am a British white prog rock loving old guy. So I'm definitely not target audience. You may be very different to me, and you may have a very different view of this. And I'd love to hear from you as to what you think of this album. So please let me know by leaving me a comment. But that's it from me for now.
Girls jump up to this, non-stop turn and twist. Out of his mercy. What's on the done of McGuan? Here, Buju Banton. Me all walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money, girl, tell me where you get it from. Knock on your entrance, ram pa pa pam pam. Can't let me in, me have the thing where you are waiting. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of money, girl.